Okay, welcome to one of the final small projects we're going to be doing before we jump onto the major project. And this is a bit different. What I wanted to do was to show how we can scatter this confetti and scatter these balloons. I'm probably going to use these type of balloons, and I'm going to use the confetti on this side. So let's jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into Max and let's see what we can do. So the scene I've set up is I have a wall here for our shot here, and then I have this to bounce the light, and I have some splines, a camera, and a V-Ray light. Simple scene, nothing complicated. Now, we have a few assets as well. Let me show you them. So we have the balloon, and then I have my confetti that I'm going to be using. Just simple splines converted to polys. So, important thing to know straight away is when you create a Forest Pro object, and I'm in icon mode and I drag it out, you'll see that the direction of this Forest Pro object is quite important because that's the way it's going to populate your assets. So I'm going to delete that, and in case of this wall, we're going to want to select the front view, and we want to create a Forest Pro in this alignment. So I can click and drag, and there you go. So now we have that Forest Pro where we want it. Now I have my balloon, so let's add it into the object. Let's go to geometry, click the plus button, and select our balloon. Click yes, and there we go. Nothing's showing up now because we need to add in our surface. Click plus, add the surface, make sure it's on auto, and then it's also not showing up now because we want to increase the distribution. So if I go here, I can then bring this down, let's say 50 for now. Let's go areas and make sure this is switched on, and there you go. So now we can see all our balloons. The display mode at the moment is not ideal, so I'm switching to point clouds. And one issue we have is the balloons are going outwards like that, and that's because of the direction I have this balloon. So what we can do is we can just rotate this balloon 90 degrees, and our balloon is sticking up the way we want. Perfect. So I'm going to hide the assets for now. I'm going to hide the geo, and we're going to just stick with this. So one issue we have immediately when we do this, if I go into this view, we obviously need to increase the density. So if I go to distribution, and we could put this on full for now, and we just start bringing this down, you can see that the balloons start clipping into each other. Let's keep it for dense for now, and we'll bring this down, and you can see the balloons are now clipping in. If I was to render this scene, you'll see that the balloons are clipping into each other, which is not ideal. We don't want that. So how do we stop that? Well, there's a certain number of ways you can do it. You can go into surfaces. Oh, sorry, not the surfaces. We want to go to distribution, and you want to go to collisions. So we can enable this, and we can change some settings. So just before I do that, I want to add in this object to here as an exclude. So add that in there, and then that way we can just work with a bit more smaller amount of point clouds and make the scene run a bit faster. Then I'm going to go back to my distribution and down to collision. Increase this to, I'm going to say about 8. We want to quite dense, but obviously we don't want these colliding. So how do we fix that? In the collisions. So if we increase this, nothing is going to happen because you need to click preview on viewport. So now we can see it. So if I put this to about 110, maybe 108, keep going down until we find something that kind of matches. Go to distribution, we need to increase this. Let's go 4. Bring that down. Maybe we switch this back to 16. Find something that works and switch this to full. And what we also probably want to put on is transforms now, because we're going to be changing this. So at the moment, they're completely flat, and we need to first of all push these against the wall, all of them. So if we go to geometry, we can then go to Z offset, and we can push this off the wall. We don't want it touching the wall at all. In fact, we can push it out a good bit out of the wall. So now what do we need to do? Now we need to go back to our transforms, switch on everything, because we want everything to move, balloons moving every single axis. We also want scale. People blow up balloons a bit bigger than others. So again, we want a lot of depth in this. So by default, I think the translation has no Z depth, which makes sense for most cases, but for our case, we want to increase this. We want this coming out towards the camera. Something like that. And that looks a lot better. We then want to see how the collisions are doing. At the moment, they seem to be okay. If I go back to distribution and say we did still have that at 100, some of them would definitely still collide, but we're kind of getting away with it because our density isn't that maxed out. But if you find that your balloons are colliding, just increase this and they will stop doing that. But at the moment, I think we're okay. I'll leave it at 102. If I hit F9, let's see if we can see any. There's a few here, few here. So there are a few balloons, yeah, like these are colliding, so we need to fix that. So I'm going to increase this a bit more. And then we can go to distribution and we can put this down to something like 8. And then let's see if we fix that issue. There we go. This is actually just ones behind it. So I think we're okay. Balloons look good. We can probably decrease the distribution a bit more, but we don't want to go too low because let's go to about 5. Okay, that looks good. So now we want to add in the confetti. So again, we're going to create a forest for object, go into the front view, drag it on, right click, and we're going to add in our confetti. So select here, let's switch them on, then select add, and select all the confetti. Select add, and there we are. So now we do the same thing, we go into surfaces, add in this surface. This time in areas, I'm going to make sure this is off, and I'm just going to add in our spline, which has include. Okay, go to distribution, switch this to full, add in our transforms straight away. Okay, again, go to distribution. Now you can see them materializing a bit now, but this is way too high. So we're going to go to something like as low as 16. There we go. Then we're going to go, would dense look well? I think we're going to keep it at full for the moment. But one thing we need to change is transform. We need to, again, bring this Z up. So I really want this in the face. Like it's explode. It's confetti, so it's going to explode into us. So do something like that. Hit F9, see where we're at. There we go. We have our confetti. Yeah, that seems good. One thing we want to do is some of them are protruding into the wall. We don't want that. So go to our geometry, Z offset, push it up a bit, make sure nothing's, select them all, Z offset, and push through. There we are. Now, I'm still not too happy with the balloons. They're a bit too sparse and not dense enough. I also maybe grab my spline here and move this up because I don't want the balloons that low. Yeah, something like that. Grab the balloons, go to distribution, and I'm going to decrease this to about 2.5. That's okay. Something like that. Looking okay. And then if I hit F9, yeah, it looks pretty good. Now, one thing we obviously want to change is the color. And Forest Pro includes a great material called Forest Color. Okay, if I double click that, you have a forest color here. And what it does is it's able to select a bitmap, select those colors, place it in, and create different colors based on that bitmap image. It will select the pixel, so we can select this, go into our geometry, and we're going to place this into our material. Select OK. Then I can hit F9, and there you go. Balloons look a lot better. Now the rotation is a bit much because most times balloons don't really rotate like that unless they've been whacked by some child. So let's fix that now. So select the balloons, go to our transforms, and we need to fix one of the rotations. So it's one of these. So probably want like a very little amount, so probably like 22 would be okay. And then if I hit F9, is that a bit too little? Yeah, that's good, but I think it needs a bit more. It's a bit too tame. So increase that. Increase this one as well. Decrease it, sorry. They need to be roughly the same. So now if I hit F9, that looks a bit better. Yeah. So we have our balloons. We have the different colored balloons. Now the confetti needs the same treatment in terms of color. At the moment it's just using the 3ds Max color that's been placed into it. So again, I've used the same thing. I've used this bitmap, different colors, told it to pick these colors and add it to confetti. Okay, so we have this here. Let's make sure we name it f_confetti. And then go to geometry, select all the geometry and make sure it has this material. Select OK, and I'm also going to name this, make sure I name this f_balloons, and then we hit F9 and see what we have. And there you go. Now we have the color, we have the balloons, and we have pretty much what we wanted in terms of this. We wanted these balloons, this confetti, and we wanted it in this, and that's what we got. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's a bit different. You might find something else for this purpose. So like you could use the Forest Pro for something else in terms of the color and the material, and see what you can produce from these results. Thanks for watching.